Hey everyone, welcome to my channel Dreams of Atlantis. This is Lizzie Karen, and today we're going to talk about why the pyramid structure was so amazingly popular all around the world with the ancients. Well, where to begin? Well, let's start at the very beginning, as Julie Andrews would say, or sing. The first time I saw a pyramid shape of any significance in my dream regressions was at the top of a very large, very tall obelisk. Even today, the obelisk structures tend to have pyramids at the top. So what was the obelisk for? It was the key component for the receipt and distribution of radiant energy. I won't go into it at this stage, but think Nikola Tesla. I could spend a whole episode on this subject alone, the subject of radiant energy, but I'm going to just stay on topic. And I could also do a whole episode on obelisks because, well, not only have I seen them in my travels everywhere I go, they're in my dreams as well. So there's a lot of interesting things to say about obelisks. And you'll see in one of the pictures above, the one in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. And that is quite amazing. But what's even more amazing is trying to cross from one side of that street to the other. It took me ages. Anyway, that's by the by. I promised to stick to the topic. I'm going to stick to the topic. So we've got these pyramids on the top of obelisks. And the obelisk's like an antenna for sending and receiving energy. But also sent and received data, communications, and some other stuff. But as I mentioned before, I'm sticking to topic. Hey, it's interesting, while I'm off topic, how we have these obelisks with the pyramids on top everywhere in the world. And we really don't know why we like them. We just like them. And I think that's a residual thing. Because these days, they're really just a symbol, aren't they? They're a symbol of power. So in my dreams, they're also about power, but a different kind of power, energy. And they have a significant purpose. Not just an ornamental purpose, but also, as you may have heard in one of my earlier episodes, they're also useful for putting things like the laws are written on an obelisk. So it's also quite good for communicating physically, not just electronically. It became apparent that the larger the obelisk, the better it functioned. Often, the obelisk would be placed on a nearby hill or mountain, but in areas where there were limited access to higher terrain, the most stable platform for the obelisk was determined to be a pyramid, because it had to be such a tall obelisk. In order to explain this, I'm going to try my hand at some graphics. So let's start with an obelisk and a pyramid shape. And now let's try to combine the two into a single shape. And now let's try a bigger version of that. And where does that lead us? To the obvious, to one of these. So that is based on the fact that the shape of the base was useful for the purposes of the obelisk. Now let's look at it from a different angle completely. Let's just look at the obelisk. Let's imagine we have a bigger obelisk, a bigger one. We just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger until we've really just got the top of the obelisk. What have we got? If we've got a really big obelisk, well, we've got a pyramid, haven't we? Just a plain, ordinary pyramid. Now, getting back to what I saw in my dream regressions, the very early pyramids were a pyramid base with a tall obelisk with a pyramid shape on top of the obelisk. The first one, built in Kem, was small compared to the pyramids that we see today on the Giza Plateau. And as I said, it wasn't a true pyramid. It was simply a very large obelisk with a pyramid base. So that pyramid base was more like the size of some of the satellite pyramids. It was definitely a reasonable size, but nothing in comparison to the Great Pyramid. The obelisk itself was made from a single piece of cut stone, and overall it would be, at a guess, maybe a bit higher than the Eiffel Tower. It stood on what is today the Giza Plateau, and that was the location of Kem University. So that's the university for the application of energy. So for more on that subject, you'd need to see my episodes on education. It was made from a very yellow form of sandstone, which when polished looked so stunning. I never saw any large pyramids in Tantal, aka Atlantis, in my regressions, but I did see the pyramid obelisks. They were very popular, and I had also seen pyramids in other locations. So there was quite a lot of these pyramid structures, pyramid obelisk structures, all over the world, located in places where either we had a university or were for some other reason. And this was because we needed them there for energy, for communications, and for various other things. How they evolved into the actual pyramid shape itself is probably another story, because otherwise it's going to get a bit long. So I could do another episode on the pyramids of Giza and when they came about, because they came about thousands of years later after the pyramid obelisk of Giza. So let me know in the comments below if you want me to do an episode discussing the pyramids of Giza and what I remember about them from my dream regressions. So to summarize, it all started with the obelisks, and the obelisks were part of the ancient technology used by the people of Tantal, Atlantis. There was growth in the popularity of the obelisk for what it could provide. There was growth in the size of the obelisks, because the bigger they got, the more powerful they became. And there was growth in the technology itself. It was found that the technology that the top of the obelisk was providing could be done in a pyramid form. I need to stress at this point that this evolutionary process took place over thousands of years. It is my opinion that some of these pyramids around the world are originating from a smaller pyramid that the Atlanteans may have left behind, may have been ruined, and people have come across it in ruins and tried to either put it back together or used it as the base to build on top of. So to create bigger pyramids themselves, using that as a base, possibly even to preserve what they thought was a gift from the ancients. This is just an opinion that I'm holding. I haven't actually seen this in any of my dream regressions. It's just fits in with what I have seen, because there are so many pyramids all over the world, and they don't look the same as they did in my dreams. So somebody's been altering them in some way. I know that the Egyptians altered them quite a lot, and I suspect in South America and Central America, the pyramids were either as a base, i.e. they were inside the bigger pyramids built by the people there, or the people copied the pyramid structure because they thought it held great importance to the ancients. But as I said, that's really my opinion, and I don't have any dream regressions that I can say, well, I saw this or I saw that. I have only specific things like that I saw in some dreams of Egypt. But so hence my suspicions for other places. Okay, well, I'll call it a day at this point on this episode, and I'll catch you all next time. Thank you, everybody. Bye.